I had the worst homework yesterday. I was watching Tool videos all day. It was amazing. Everything from the fucking casting of the actors to the design to everything is so cinematic. Was that grueling on a level to give, again, birth to that? Or was that kind of, you know, we want to do something different here? Were you trying to do something a little avant-garde?
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Adam does those. I was involved in some of the initial direction on the first couple videos, but once Adam gets going,
Yeah.
get out of the room.
What about editorially?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Control freak. Now you say control freak who?
Got it. Gee, I hope Adam's not here. Yeah, he just left. He was here. Well, there was a avalanche after the videos, no matter where the authorship was. There was a kind of critical, and you know, whatever the fuck MTV means to anyone, but there was a critical bouquet thrown to you guys. Was that surprising? That, oh man,
MTV?
Well, just in general, hey, they love our videos, they love our stuff, like they love our stuff. Was that surprising to you?
Yeah, I think anybody who was making music in the early 90s can probably be witness to, there was quite a feeding frenzy at that point, so MTV wasn't quite sure where to go. So they were kind of accepting a lot of things onto their shows that they wouldn't normally. Thank you, Nirvana, because they kind of broke that open for us to kind of get in and do something different. They didn't really, you know, most executives and record companies, MTV, they didn't really know whether it was good or not. They just knew it was different, and they wanted to try to find the next Nirvana and sign it and get rich. So we slipped in the cracks and just kept saying, they say, you do it this way. And we go, no, we're going to do it this way. And they go, okay.
Before we get to some questions, I was thinking about MTV. The original, when Miami Vice was created, and Michael Mann didn't create Miami Vice, that's a bit of a misconception, but the original memo from NBC said the concept of the show is MTV Cops. That's all it said on the memo. That was the subject.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Talk a little bit about, before we get to the folks' questions, your general taste in film. To me, film is like such a fetish. You know, we're in a room, it's dark, it smells a certain way, the experience is such a thing. Is this an important experience for you, being in the cinema, watching movies? How do you like to watch movies, and what kind of movies do you?
Well, I can go down a couple lists, but we were going to see The Exorcist. That was one of the films that we were in. Yeah. Most people, I think, probably bought tickets to see The Exorcist. And actually, the first choice was Manhunter, but they couldn't get a hold of it at the time. We switched to Exorcist. Something happened, we couldn't see that. But
and William Friedkin was actually one of the first choices for Hannibal Lecter.
What?
Now it all makes sense to me. It's a documentary. Anyway, no, talk a little bit about you and cinema.
So, I think I just respond to films like The Exorcist. Again, going back to pacing, character development, really taking your time with it. I don't think, and nowadays, especially, I guess you can kind of blame MTV a little bit for that, but I don't think that a film like The Deer Hunter would see as much critical acclaim these days as it did back in the day. Anybody who's ever watched that movie, if you get bored in the first half hour, you don't see the movie. If you walk off when they graduate and they're having their party and arguing over a girl, you don't see what happens after that because you lose interest because the pacing is too slow for you. Pacing is perfect. It just builds up this perfect sense of rivalry, sibling rivalry, all that. It just kind of sets it all up perfectly. And when it actually goes to war, it's a slap in the face. You have no idea where it came from. Just keeps going from there. Same thing. Taxi Driver, The Exorcist.
The Deer Hunter is the pacing of growing up, and that's why it's so hard to watch in a way. You see these men and women grow up. Another film I was thinking about when you chose Manhunter, I was thinking of Zodiac, not because of the subject matter. I don't know if you saw Fincher's Zodiac. The movie is over 3 hours long, And when I saw it, I was like, fuck, this movie's too long. But then I thought, that's the point. They can't catch this guy.
Right.
It doesn't end. Nothing materializes. I think,
Almost the length of the film is almost a metaphor for the frustration of.
I think that's a hard thing to put the audience through.
I'll still see it.
Yeah. Questions, and then we can get